I have no idea what you're saying there, Peter.
wall.
We are live. Hey, everyone. We are
Here,
filling
Peter,
in
say it
for.
again. See if the comments can.
Yeah, let's start off with Peter. What did you say?
Oh, just the MC said during that event 5 run is a tiebreak for the event 4 snatch, and I thought from just reading it initially, I just assumed the tiebreak was the 800 meters before the max lift was going to be the tiebreak for the max lift. So then the 800 meters is completely irrelevant. Then it's just there as a hurdle, basically. Okay.
It is. It's 100% irrelevant. So
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. So Savon is at Greg Glassman's Broken Science Initiative at the ranch right now. So we stepped
In
in
1940 Europe, things looked different.
Yes, tell us, Peter. All right, let's get started. We'll start with the men since they went first. Pull up the leaderboard here.
Sorry. Did you guys talk about? I missed a little bit yesterday. Did you guys talk about BK on the rings?
BK on the rings? No.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Peter.
So BK got no rep in his first set on the rings. He got no reps for part of the complex. He ended up doing 7 unbroken complexes because he got no reps. And when he got no reps, the judge that he had made him redo the entire complex instead of just the dip, or you know what I mean? Like he basically told him to start again, do the whole complex again, and it happened twice. And he appealed it at the end, and they were like, "There's nothing we can do." Like that's why his score was so bad for that one. So the judges said, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. That's just your time." So like I kind of thought maybe they could have given him a certain amount of burpees back, but that explains his score from that one yesterday.
Yeah, let's start with BKG. He's down on the leaderboard. John, you had him winning the whole thing. He's sitting in 9th after 5 events. What's your initial reaction to really, I guess, the first 5 events on him?
Yeah, it's not a BKG-esque performance, to say the least. BKG is one of the more consistent people. He's kind of like a worse Justin Medeiros, if you will. I kind of think he's kind of, in my opinion, he's like a modern Scott Panchik. He's very consistent most competitions, and so for him to be having these ups and downs, I mean, what Peter said, if you give him 5 more burpees, that probably would help his event score too a lot. But Linda was trash. I mean, I almost expected him to be better at event 5. I know that's a weird event, but I mean, he did fine. But 11th is not great in this field. You know, if he did 11th at the games, I could understand it. But in this field, 11th seems low. He just seems not as good as he normally does. I don't know if he's just a bad run of events. I mean, Justin didn't seem as good as he normally is either. And there was no explanation other than it was just a bad 5 events. So something similar could be going on here with BKG. I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll make it. I don't think there's a worry in that. But he's underperformed. That's.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike,
he started.
You were up early. You watched the whole thing from 3rd event at 3 a.m. So how did he do on Linda? He's down in 25th.
I don't recommend that, by the way. Not looking back on it, but it was a bit hard to tell. There was not too many angles. Good job by Chase and Brian and Peter and the team, but so it was a bit hard to tell exactly where he might have gotten stuck on that. Yeah, roller coaster for him for sure. After event 3 or test 3, he was 16th. So he is doing enough to skate by here, going into 9th with that 2nd on the lift. But obviously not the BKG that most people put into the podium spot or the champion spot for this semifinal. But yeah, nothing really to call out on Linda besides just obviously not the place you'd think he'd be in on a workout like that.
Yeah. Peter, on when we ended it yesterday, you had David Sharunki taking it all. You were there. I mean, was it as impressive as it looks on the leaderboard?
Yeah, he was relentless. First of all, there is no fucking benches in Germany. Like, there's nowhere for me to sit down. Um, there's what? Like, I'm in a park and there's none. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, he was really, really good. Like, it was, on some of the heats, you see people starting off and they go through the 10 and then they get the first back to the 9, and you're like, oh wow, they're going fast. And then after a while, you're like, oh, they went too fast. He was going fast enough for you to notice that he was going fast, and he never slowed down. And he just got faster and faster. Once he got past the 5, he just blitzed the rest. He was like jogging between the bits, and he was really, really impressive. But he's such a unit. Like, he's massive and strong as hell. Like, he's really good.
Yeah,
and it's great as well. Sorry, because he qualified. Like, he qualified for the games, but never got to go, and then he got injured. And then Emma had that whole thing where he was the judge and he moved the bar and she got penalized. So, like, it would be unbelievable if they both get to go, and it'd be a nice bit of, like, kind of redemption for him, I suppose.
He's in a great spot.
Yeah, John, do you think he can pull it off on Sunday? Get 2 more decent finishes and slip into the top 11?
Go to the total points again.
Total, yeah.
He's in 5th.
I can see that. I want to see who's in the.
Sorry, John.
So, I mean, there's a 45-point gap between him and. I mean, that's not the biggest of gaps. I would want a bigger gap than that. But I don't know how event 6 is such an unknown on who's going to screw up and who's not going to screw up. We didn't think Olivia, Carstetter, or Catherine would do as good as they did, and they murdered it. I don't know how David Sharunki's going to be on that. I don't know how bad Braun's going to be on that. I don't think they'll do well, but it depends. Like, are they going to get 50th or are they going to get, 16th? If they get 16th, they're good to go. They're going to make it. I think Sharunki's going to be fine on event 7. Event 6 is just going to be such a up in the air thing. So, I mean, I think he'll be on the bubble, but, like, in a comfortable, like, he'd have to really bomb event 6 to not be comfortable. Does that make sense going into event 7?
Yeah.
Mike,
you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. A stat that Barkley Dale gave me was 80% of the workouts for David Sharunki that he's done since 2019 that have a legless rope climb in them, he is in the top 10%. Or I mean, he's in the top 10. So it's like an odd stat to say, but yeah, 8 times out of 10, if there's a legless rope climb event, he's in the top 10. So could be good there. Obviously, there's a lot going on with that workout where it can fault you in a few different places, but yeah, he's definitely on an upward trajectory so far during the week that we really didn't see. It'd be great for him and Emma to turn this around and be both going to the games.
You've made it as a stats guy when you've got a stats guy.
Oh yeah.
At the top of the leaderboard, we have Lazar Dukic. John, are you impressed by what he's been able to do, especially in some of these that you didn't think when we talked about our preview show that he was going to be able to keep up with? I mean, even BKG, but some of the stronger guys in the field.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm impressed or not. Like, you expect Lazar to be first or second, and he's killed it. Don't get me wrong. He's been super consistent. He's been awesome. But, a 280 snatch and he gets third, like, that'd be what, 13th, 15th in North America, West or East. So like I want to say he's impressive, but if you put up his scores against North America, West or East, I don't think he's as impressive. It's just the field's not as strong here. I expect Lazar to do what he's doing with this field. I expect BKG to be up there with him, and he's not. So BKG has underperformed. I think Lazar has done what I thought he would do. So it's hard for me to be impressed with him. If he, was 12 minutes on Linda and he snatched 290, then I'm in, now I'm impressed because those numbers are going to be competitive with the top of the tier at the games, but they're not. You know what I mean? So when we get to the games, like Lazar is a top 10 fittest guy in the world. So I'm going to compare him to the rest of the top 10 fittest guys in the world. And nobody here is that except BKG. And BKG has not been normal BKG. So it's hard for me to be impressed with him when this is what I expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, I just sorted here by workout 4. Bronislaw with the 295 max lift taking first, walked away with plenty of time left. I mean, you go down to, and they don't have the tiebreakers in there yet, but I mean, top 15 was 275. Everybody was hitting 275. Mike, what do you make of the men's?
Like like where's Oldest at? Oldest probably will make, 265 at 17th. I would not be shocked, and I don't know. So, Mike, if you know, speak up. Or Brian, if you know, speak up. I bet 265 is close to 40th place in the West, and right there, he'd be out. You know what I mean? So, like it's sure. Oldest might make it just because he lives in Europe, and I get it. Europe is not as strong as those divisions, but I mean the snatches to do well in this competition is embarrassing compared to the rest of the world that is competitive, because I put Europe right up there with every region. I think Europe's one of the stronger regions. So for somebody like Lazar, somebody like BKG, it's hard to be impressed with them when I know they wouldn't do that in America, right? Lazar would be 20th, and he's got 3rd in Linda. That's a great pool, Adam. Like 20th, we're sitting here thinking, what's wrong with Lazar? He's almost on the bubble because I know his snatch isn't up there either. Right, so he's probably more like 7th or 8th instead of 1st place easily. You could say the same for Yona. Yona Koski was 15-15 in Linda. That right there, that score might make him not make the games if he lived somewhere else. So it's hard for me to be impressed with Yona. He gets first in the event he should get first in, but these guys are fitter than this. I know they're doing fine in Europe, but they're fitter than what they're showing. Because in the games, Yona is 15, pushing top 10. I know he's been top 10 before, but as of it's what have you done for me now? He's like 8th through 15th, I expect. And Lazar is top 7.
Yep. Yeah. For that stat that you talked about, it would be like mid 30s in East or West for 265, but there's a bunch of tiebreakers because of that tiebreaker on the.
I'll probably put him first because I imagine he does well in event 5, right? So you could probably put him at the head of the whatever 265 would be.
Yeah, it's like 30s. It's like in the range of 30s would be be around there. But I mean, and we could talk about Braun for sure stopping at 295. He looked great on that lift, and it looked like he had way more in the tank. Like that's a piece of this when you try to compare region to region is, well, they're only trying to beat the field that they're against. Like they're just trying to make the games. People aren't trying to, most cases, do a world record on these. Like it used to be back in the regionals, you would see that every week somebody else would break a record. This time around, we're seeing week 1, week 2 continue to hold strong on what they did. So Braun walking away from the bar, just thinking like, okay, well, I've beaten everybody. Why I don't need to send it like Guy or somebody else might. It kind of shows that there's a little bit more nuance to it than just saying like, okay, well, this field isn't doing as well against others because they just have to beat this field.
Yeah,
and the people who win the events, who get first place, I would 100% agree. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about, if you don't win first place, right? The only we talk about this all the time with Z-score. It only really matters for the person who wins the event because they're the person that backs off. The people that get 5th or 3rd, they're still going as hard as they can, right?
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll go to the workout or overall score on the men here. Moritz Feibig, Henrik Haapalainen. as Savon would say, Jelly host in fourth.
And he's killed it, man. I didn't know who he was going into this competition. I mean, he's a name on a screen. I know his name on the screen, but I didn't know who he was. I didn't watch him previously. He's just a name that I've seen a couple times. And he's done really, really well this whole competition. I hope he can keep it up. I've been impressed with that guy, and I look forward to see. When you post a 256 and you beat Vellner, or you're right there around Vellner, in this, like, that's the world's best time. That means I feel like he could be a home run hitter in the games. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that I want to see.
Yep, jelly toast. Let's see, David Sharunki, Jan Koski, Bronislaw, Michael Wesolowski. You know much about him, Mike?
Not at all, but he's looked impressive the entire weekend, and that's kind of a big deal here for this field where it's all of Europe. You start to see these names where didn't know how to pronounce them. I'm glad Mads is on the call. He does a really great job pronouncing names. Yeah, it's great to see some of these new names show up in the top 10 where we may not have seen them before, and really watch them show out. With some of that, you start to see these names that they fall off the list a little bit as the weekend goes on. So we'll see if he stays right in that 8, 9, 10 range to stay in the games heat, or make the games. But yeah, he's looked great so far.
BKG in 9th, Antoine Dumaine and Oldest Upnix. So I guess following up on that, Mike, who will fall out of the top 11 on Sunday?
Put him on the spot.
Is there anybody at risk?
Well, I mean, this comes up whenever. I'll say it this way: whenever Brian or John or anybody does like a top 10 ranking, and people are like, no, obviously, I'm looking at the list here. Enrico Zanoni is going to be in the top 10. So and so is going to be in the top 10. You start to have this conversation that is, well, who are you going to take out? I would lead towards, and I've seen it over the last 3 weeks, is who's been doing this and who's been doing live competitions and who's able to really show out over a weekend versus just having possibly some really good events early on that keep them in these final heats. So I'd like to see Zanoni and Uldis jump back further into the top 10, into the final heat for the last event, if they're going to be in this order come event 6. But I don't know. There's some of these names on this list that I don't really want to bet against them. They're having a hell of a weekend. So, but that's who I would think.
Yeah. Pedro, anybody that out there that's on the outside looking in that you think you could see moving up on Sunday?
I thought Fabian Benito would be a lot better.
That's a different question, Pedro.
Well, like I see his name there, and he's on the outside, and it's like I thought he'd be top 7. So I don't know what story is with him. Like it's you kind of look down. So say if you look, you look not okay. BK's in. Like I mean, just because like you talked about, he has the history, he has the the wherewithal to stay involved and not. He's not likely to slip up, basically. He's a mature competitor. But then you look down below, like Uldis, he's been around a while. But like Uldis and Antoine, they're the two you're really looking at for like, would they maybe slip up or whatever. But then when you look beneath, you're like, well, who's beneath them that will step ahead of them?
Yeah.
And like, there's not a huge amount. That's why I'm talking about Fabian. It's like, I would have thought he'd either be on the bubble or he'd be in by now. So I don't know, like it's like Mike is saying that you look at the people who've been around and who could you take out to put in and stuff. Like there's nobody just below them that you're like, oh my God, how are they not in there? So I don't know. It's a lot. I feel it's a lot more dramatic on the women's side.
J.R. Howell jumps in. Zanoni jumps 5 spots at least after number 6.
I feel great.
Yeah, I think he'll win it. I think
JR agrees with me that I feel great. Yeah.
I think so. As far as who's going to drop out, can you go up a little bit?
Yep.
So it's going to be pretty interesting after right there's fine. So we don't know. I don't know if Yale Hosta is a gymnastics freak. If he's not, this could be a Mitchell Stevenson like fail. And sorry, Mitchell, but it was pretty bad. And 366 to 316 is 50 points. I'm not saying he loses all of that in one event, but say he drops 30, and then I think event 7, it's possible that he could get got, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Yale Hosta. I think David Sharonke should be all right, but we don't know. I think Michael Wesolowski is going to drop out, unfortunately. And that guy, he trains with Bronislaw in Poland. I know Bronislaw is under Cotler, but these two are good. I'm pretty sure they're good friends. I've seen them on YouTube training together multiple times. And usually Braun beats him. Obviously, Braun is a trash runner. But other than that, usually Mikhail loses to Bronislaw just in normal fitness. So I think Mikhail drops out. I think Antoine might drop out. It depends. Antoine could murder event 6, and then he's not going to, but I think he drops out. I think Oldest is going to kill event 7, at least for him. Kind of like a Mertens-esque event 7. Oldest has shown he's very good on the bike, and he's small, so I assume he's good at toast to bar. He's been to the games before. So I actually think he'll be all right. I think he's going to get in. But Luka Vuniek, Zanoni, Catulis, all of those guys should do really good in event 7. And Braun, I don't think is going to do good. David Sharonke, I don't think is going to do good. Like all the guys, there's like 4 guys in the top 11 right now that I think will do really bad in event 6. And 4 guys outside that'll do really good in event 6. And then it's all going to culminate in event 7.
Mm-hmm.
So out of those guys, one of them is going to be good at legless rope climbs and handstand push-ups. I know Mike said Sharonke's really good at legless rope climbs. I know Bronislaw is going to be fine on the handstand push-ups. After that, that's all. You know what I mean? I just think there's going to be a lot of shuffle after event 6.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be who can send it and hold it on event 7. I actually think it's going to roundabout into like a really fun finale, because we always thought it was a big man's workout in event 7. To an extent it is. I mean, Hopper, Roman, Dallin have the top scores in that. But you see Mertens pull out a 10th and beat Fikowski. So weird things have happened. So I think it's all going to come down to event 7. And everything's going to be really, really, really tight after event 6.
Yeah, if you scroll all the way down to 25th, I think this is a guy to watch in event 6, Victor Hoffer. I don't know that it's going to matter.
He's just there to play spoiler.
Yeah, I think he'll do really well in this workout and might then start to play with the cut line a little bit, depending on how well he does against the people in between him and 11th. But I think he's going to be great in this workout. I think BKG is going to be great in this workout. So if anybody's concerned about
should
him,
be good at this workout.
Yeah. So there's going to be people that jump from the low teens or high teens, low 20s that may matter come event 7, but it might be a little bit of too little too late for some of them of just how they've done so far to then have the best workout of their weekend here at event 6.
Yeah, walking through the leaderboard, I think there's some names that were kind of surprised. Reggie Foss is down there. Let's see, anybody else? Stephen Fawcett, he's already made it to the Masters, so he'll be in there. Mattis Coker.
Callum Clements was going to have a good weekend.
He did not, so I'll take that L.
I just said some people. I didn't know. Were you one of those people?
He might be great on this workout. Again, he's one of those, but yeah,
I was trying to keep that under the down low.
Yeah,
but throw his name out there, you know.
And we have quite a few withdrawals here. I mean, we have eight men who aren't going to finish the weekend at least. Luka Dukic dealing with the flu. Georgios Karavis, spoke with him after he withdrew. Just his body wasn't responding to what he needed to, and decided to call it for the weekend. Is there anything to make of this many withdrawals? Do we think it has anything to do with being in the third week and having extra time to prepare for this, maybe overtraining the same workouts over and over and over again? John?
I don't think so. I think that's a tough reach. We've heard the flu or some weird sickness going around. I don't know what that is, but I don't think it's because they had extra time to train. People are taking that last week as a deload week anyway, and a full week of just kind of getting your body healthy, not overtraining. None of these guys are the people who say they're not peaking. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't think it's. I think that's a hard reach saying that it's the third week and they're overtrained. It's just a weird coincidence that there's this many withdrawals. It's sad.
Yeah, everything I'd heard is Luca was doing really well in training and was going to put up a good show, but unfortunately, I'll have to wait another year. Anything else
Christian
before
Cotler makes a great point.
Where's this? Not everyone can beat Colton. That is very true. So.
It's very true.
And well, let me just say on that, like, we haven't heard from some of the athletes unless you went and talked to the rest of them. There hasn't been like, this isn't like the strict muscle up regional.
The pec tear, the ring dips in semifinals.
Yeah, there you go. Like, we're not hearing that. We're hearing flu. We're hearing just like the body didn't feel right and they dropped out, things like that. If we started to hear pec tears, if we started to hear like, hey, the weighted muscle ups and things like that are really having an effect, or that back to back with Linda is really having an effect. But some of these guys have dropped out before that even happened. So it's hard to say. Another thing that does come up, and people really like get on athletes about this, they have to be perfect on this specific weekend. Like, there's no other way to get into the games. There's no other thing that they can do. So, like, there is a lot of pressure, which can cause, I'm not a medical person, but can cause obviously some issues health-wise of just putting that much pressure on saying you have to be perfect for the next 4 days straight or 3 days straight to be able to make the games. Like before, when it was sanctionals and things like that, and they could sort of pick and choose how they got to the games, there was a lot more that they could do. In this case, they have to be perfect. And if they see they're not going to be, then they have to make a decision whether it's best for their health to just back out or just try to eke out as far as they can during the weekend.
Oh.
That's the guy that owns Gold.
Oh, okay. The bald. Alyssa, does Pedro have any inside information on any of the injuries or withdrawals? Have you heard anything while being out there in Berlin?
Pussies. No, I didn't hear anything. No, I didn't hear anything. Like what Mike is saying there, yeah, like it's a lot of pressure and stuff, but it's no different than the pressure that the guys in America and Oceania and, like everyone goes through the same thing. So, I don't know. I do wonder sometimes because it's like, I'd love to know what the prevalence of like withdrawals in other sports, in other individual sports like golf or tennis or whatever, where like, oh shit, like I've done 2 holes, my weekend is done already, I know it's done. So it's like, oh, well, I just say I tweak my back and I, like, instead of embarrassing myself or whatever, I wonder, is there any of that from anyone where they're like, this isn't going well? If I say afterwards, if I put up a black and white post in 3 days and say I'm injured afterwards, it's still going to be a bit transparent, but if I just cut my losses now and pull out, but I don't know. I don't want to. I was going to say I don't want to cast aspersions, but I just spent like 45 seconds doing it. No, I didn't hear anything specific. Actually, someone else went past me a minute ago. Oh, Facundo went past me on an electric scooter when you guys were talking, and he tried to stop it, but he didn't know how, so he just had to wave and keep going. He was like looking at it going, I don't know how to stop it, and he just waved and kept going. So yeah, that's all my insights.
Oh. Gabe from Paper Street Coffee, $9.99. Thank you very much. That is why Colton is a G. So absolutely, Colton pulled through, showed us that he can still compete with.
Colton goes blind and still makes it to the game.
Yeah. Nothing can stop him.
Yeah.
No
Koski with
your hormones in Europe. That's what people are saying.
Koski with his shoulder. I saw it taped up today. Peter, do you see any side effects of that? I mean, did he have any issues on the bench press or
No,
the snatch?
he was a little bit slower than I kind of thought he would be on the bench. But then when you guys are talking about that, it's like I do wonder, is it what's that thing? You can only beat who's put in front of you. So like, did he push himself as hard as he like? I mean, he was definitely puffing when he was finished, but it's like if he was up against a better field, would he have pushed a little bit harder? But that's it's kind of hard to think about that. It's hard to give an accurate answer on that kind of stuff. But I didn't notice anything. Snatch event, he seemed fine. He wasn't like rubbing it, or he didn't look. He wasn't like making faces at Yami or doing anything like that. So I think it kind of went as expected for all of them really. I think BK hit his. I think that was his swing for the fences lift. I think he, like do an opener, do one that on a good day you should get, and then do one where it's like, oh fuck it, I'll just see what happens. And I think that was that last one. And he was really pumped. I was talking to Khan after that, who he trains, with Yami and that, and he was like, everyone was nervous going into that event because obviously if he doesn't do well there, having not done well, that's a bit of a nail in a coffin and it makes the job way harder. But the fact that he did well, everyone was able to relax and they're like, right, okay, Sunday is fine. So I think 2 and 3 were kind of damage control for him. But I'd say he'll still be disappointed because like he was on with me in maybe March or April, and he was like, "This is like the biggest competition that there's ever been in Europe. It's the best field there's ever been in Europe." He's like, "You want to win this?" Like he's like, "Yes, you want to get your ticket to the games," but he's like, "I want to win this. I want to stand on top of the podium and say I'm the best in Europe. Full stop. No arguments." So he will be.
BKG said this.
Yeah.
Well, he's not acting like it.
No. Now the only thing is, unless after that interview, him and Yami sat down and said, "Hey, listen, maybe just peak later," that kind of way. But then I was talking to Emma McQuaid the other week, and she was saying that she feels that for the European females, especially, you can't not peak for this event because you won't get through. It was like other semi-finals. It's like they're kind of maybe able to get away with a mini peak, but she's like, you're screwed if you don't fully peak for this because it's such a stacked field. And you're seeing it with. I know you're going to talk about the women now, but I'm going to go in a second. But like you're seeing it with Jacqueline Dahlstrom and a few others that like are struggling because maybe they decided not to peak. That's just a guess. I don't really know. Anyway, I'm going to go. My batch is going to die. It's been a pleasure. If you're talking about the ladies, talk about how amazing Lucy McGonigal is. She's 16 years old and 165 days. And she finished like 12th or something in that snatch event.
It's a little sketchy that you know the day
nuts.
to the mark.
I text her mother and said, when is Lucy 17? And she said
Turning
December
18?
20th.
That's
no.
this text isn't making it say better.
But the mother said it's the 20th of December. That's the day before my birthday. But yeah, no, she's crazy impressive. And then Emma McQuaid as well, doing pretty well. I'm just kind of highlighting the Irish people, but thanks for having me. I'll talk to you later on.
Thanks, Pedro. Enjoy the team competition that's going on right now. So,
cheers. All the best.
Thanks, Pedro.
All right, on to the women. It looks like we have the event scores in, but the totals are not yet updated. Going through Linda, I watched the replay of this. Gabby Magala and Annie Thorstad are down to the wire. 0.02 of a second separated them. Annie Thorstad had a no rep on the set of 2 squat cleans, which I think cost her the event win. Jennifer Muir, Laura Horvath, Emma McQuaid, Andrea Solberg, Emma Tall. So Gabby Magala, John, what are your thoughts on? I mean, she's been impressive throughout. I think some of the events, just similar to like Lazar, she's doing well.
I mean, I'd say a lot better than Lazar.
Yeah, how so?
Lazar was. I mean, he had an amazing day 2. I don't think anybody's ever had a better day 2 than Gabby. I think we can go through all the regions, and I mean, I haven't done this, so if y'all want to nerd out and do it, but I don't. I think you could stack up these times, that weight on those workouts, and nobody has had a better day 2 in totality than Gabby has. I mean, a first, a third, and a second in the European region field. So I know I just insulted the men's field hard, but the women's field, I'm not going to. The women's field is pretty darn crazy. For her to get third in the snatch, second in the run, that by itself, I know Vellner and Fikowski did something similar to that, but Vellner and Fikowski did not win Linda. And 12:08 is very competitive to whatever Barnhart's 11:46 or 56 or something like that. Like Gabby McGowan has been amazing in day 2. And I don't think we probably aren't going to talk about it enough. People might not think about this enough, but she's going to be in first place, and it's going to be by probably a decent, 20 points. Like, she's probably going to be in first place after this day, 10, 20 points. Now, unfortunately, it's all going to come undone in event 6, but her day 2 has been incredible. We should celebrate it now because we're not going to celebrate her on event 6. Gabby, I hope you prove me wrong, but I doubt it. But you've killed today. Today's been amazing.
Yeah, no, it definitely has. Sorry, I was might have a guest appearance on here, so we'll see. Annie Thorisdottir, so far, she'll probably drop to second place after the leaderboard is updated. What are your thoughts on her, Mike?
Sorry, I was trying to do some quick math to see if I can figure out who's where. Incredible. She's been doing this for 13 years. Or, just even longer than that, but just making the games that long and winning the games. So for her to continue to do this against this field is simply, I don't know what is in the water in Iceland, but it's just incredible what she's doing and what Yami's has done with her. Like I said, I'm trying to sit here and do math real quick. But
while you're thinking that, here we go. We got a special guest, Mr. Cotler. How are you doing?
What's up, Justin?
Oh man, I'm good, boys. I don't even know what day it is, what time it is at this point, but I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Are you in Europe?
Yeah, I'm in Berlin.
Okay, we don't know what day or time it is either.
Oh, okay, good.
We're just trying to catch up and do a little recap. And I know you're coaching Bronislaw. Do you have anybody else that's out there that you're working with?
I do. I have Sarah Sigmundsdottir.
Is that a new thing?
Breaking news.
It is a new thing. About 2 months.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
So yeah, it's exciting actually. This is our first time getting. I've been friends with Sarah for a long time, but it's our first time getting to work together in a competition, and she's just amazing. The stuff nobody really knows the stuff she's been through in the last couple of years with all the different stuff, and she had a post-injury PR today on her snatch. It was just so nice to see her smiling again, and I think everything that she had is still in there. We just have to get it back, and today went a long way to that. Seeing her PR, post-injury PR, starting to trust herself again. And so, I know there are a lot of people who scrutinize, but trust me, if people knew, and she will never use any of it as an excuse, but if, I didn't even know half of the stuff that she's been through the last few years with a lot of the health stuff. And, it's pretty amazing she's actually even, here right now. So I think she's still, going to be in a spot to be able to battle for a spot tomorrow. And I have a feeling after what happened this afternoon, she's going to have a lot of momentum and she's going to bust her ass tomorrow. So I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to be here for her. And then Big Bron, bro. How about Big Bron? My goodness.
Killing it.
I love it.
So he joined with you at the turn of the season. What have you guys been working on to get him in shape? He's always been strong, but
other than running, we obviously know the obvious.
Yeah, look, if you'd have told me prior to the season you'd have two events that have running in it, and that I would finish 17th and 36th compared to what he used to do. That would have been a 55th and a 56th. You know what I mean? And here's the deal. He called me. It's not rocket science, boys. Listen, he called me and he said, I've been trying to coach myself the last few years. It's not working. I don't hold myself accountable, and I don't do the things that I don't like to do. He said, so I need a coach who's experienced. I need a coach I can trust. And he said, he and I go back. I used to coach another Polish athlete, Bart Lipka, back in like 2017, 18, and Bron and I met in 2018 when I was here in Berlin, and we've been friendly ever since. And he said, listen, I trust you, and I think you can bring the best out of me. And he said, I'm 34 years old. I want one more shot in the open division, and then I want to go and dominate the 35 to 39 division. So I said, okay, as long as you will do what I ask of you. I said, because it's going to be all the shit you don't want to do. And what's amazing about Bron, and what I don't think people understand, is they look at him and they just see a big, strong guy. He happens to be unbelievably skilled for a big guy. I mean, if you look at his muscle up workout, I mean, he died a little bit on the burpees, but I mean, his complexes were beautiful, and he got over 40 burpees for a guy that weighs 225 pounds. It's pretty damn impressive. And wait till you see him on 10 tomorrow. I mean, his pirouettes, his handstand push-ups, I mean, they're absolutely beautiful, and he's probably the best overhead squatter in the sport. So, I mean, it's a really nice event for him tomorrow, and then he should be fine on the last one. He's just got to be smart and not go for it on the first round. We've seen what's happened to people who have gone for it on the first round.
Right.
But I mean, he's in 7th right now. He's in a great spot. I know that the 2 workouts he was the most worried about are past him. That was number 1 and number 5. And he's right in the mix. So I think if we can come and execute tomorrow, I think he's got a great chance to punch a ticket. And to go from not making semifinals last year to coming back and punching a ticket, I mean, what a fucking story that would be. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
It's pretty exciting.
I'm on Team Bron Cotler. I don't know if you know this. I'm the only one who picked him to make it. I was like, just watch what happens.
Did you?
Okay, these have been.
I had him right outside the cut line.
I picked him as my last spot.
I want him.
Right? I'm not going to have another Ricky incident.
I've wanted him to, and
in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I love it, John. I appreciate that. I think people really like Bron because, I mean, he's very likable. I mean, you hang around the guy, and he's honestly, I say to people, what's Bron like? I said, Bron is cool as the other side of the pillow. That guy is just, I mean, he walks in, yesterday I was cracking up, because this is the first live competition I've ever coached in that, right? You guys know me. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm kind of high strung, and I want to make sure, like, we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's. And it was about 20 minutes before the Muscle Up Complex event, and Bron is still not at the venue.
Ooh.
He has everyone else is there. Everyone else has their rucks. Everyone else is warming up. And I text him. I'm like, where the heck are you? And he said, my call time's not for 20 minutes. I said, yeah, exactly. He said, Coach, all I need is 10 minutes. That's all I need. I need 10 minutes, buddy. I'll be fine. I was like,
let me find my backpack real quick.
That's it. He said he came in, he threw his ruck on, he did a couple complexes, he did a couple burpees, and he was ready to go. So, yeah, it's been fun. It's been great to be over here. I have to tell you, this venue is fire. I mean, compared to what we had in the States, I don't want to knock on what we had in the States, but in the States, it just felt to me like, regionals like 2015, 2016, with the bleachers and the whole 9, you're back behind pillars. And I mean, this is a venue. This is an event. It feels like it should for a professional sporting event. And I hope that everybody's taking notes, because I would love to see that next year in the States, for us to have the feel of a real professional event. They're doing a phenomenal job here, and it's exciting. I'm excited that I got a chance to come on.
Yeah, Bron hit 295 on his snatch, and he had time to do it. Was that kind of in the plan, that you weren't going to have to empty the tank on that? Just do what it takes to take the event win and move on.
He still won by 10 pounds.
He still won the event by 10. Yeah, exactly. He, what we talked about in warm-ups, he felt great in warm-ups. So we went and started at 275, and then he could make a choice. They said, listen, depending on how you feel, you want to go 275, you want to go 285 or 290. I didn't know he was going to go to 295. He felt that good, though. Hit 295. He looked over at me. and we both I kind of shook my head. Like we knew that final, we knew that final heat. You know, the guys are super fit, but there was nobody there that was really going to challenge that.
Yeah.
You know, the challenge was going to come probably from the previous heats. So once he hit 295, we felt pretty confident no one was going to touch that. And listen, at the end of the day, you know, I'm sure the crowd would love to see him hit 305 or 310, which is, you know, pretty, you know,
Put the leg up.
regular for him to hit that, you know, put the leg up. Exactly. But, you never know. It's not worth taking a risk. He's in a qualifying position right now. Wanted to make sure, you know, he put his best foot forward. We knew number 5 was going to be tough for him. And I wanted to make sure that he was able to focus and give his best effort there. But I mean, you know, took a second on Linda, took a first on the snatch. So it was a good day. It was a solid day. And I think tomorrow he doesn't have to do anything crazy tomorrow. I think he's just got to do, you know, what he does. I mean, a couple top 15s, he's going to be right where he needs to be. And that's, you know, kind of where I penciled him in for those events. And I think he's going to be just fine. You know, he's very steady, guys. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's very calm. He's very confident. And I think that will bode well for tomorrow when you have a lot of people who are fighting for those positions. There's going to be a lot of nerves. And I just think he's very confident with his abilities, and he's very calm out there, which is, I think, incredibly important.
And that's something you could really tell when an athlete like this, and you see it like in Guy and a few other athletes, if they know they can like grand slam a workout, that they actually pull back a little bit and actually say like, no, I understand where I'm at in this event, and I can go focus on the next one now, knowing that I'm doing just fine. I don't need to please the crowd or do other things to like try to beat Tudor's lift or try to like beat the other lifts by 10, 20, 30 pounds. If you can just do exactly what he did there, continue that tomorrow, he looks great in a really great spot.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, it's interesting because I haven't really let him max his snatch all year. So I mean, you know, he's occasionally hit, you know, he's occasionally hit 140 in practice, just because I'll, you know, sometimes we'll build to have, you know, heavyish single, but when I say heavy, I'll say heavyish, and I'll always say, you know, about 90-95% in that range, and he'll go up and he's hit 308 a few times. But you know, I think he's got another probably, you know, 20, 30 pounds in reserve of what he did today. And at the end of the day, that's going to be, you know, that's going to be top 5 in the sport. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what he needs to do and where we need to get better with him, you know, he could give 5% of that away and still be top 5. You know what I mean? So that's not a big deal. We're trying to improve all the other things, and I'm very proud of him. I mean, he's really, he's been a real pleasure to coach. I mean, the guy is as easy as it gets. I mean, honestly, I kind of feel the same way, you know, with Ricky. Ricky's really easy when it comes to coaching because he listens, except for the, you know, the mountain biking on jumps and shit. But, you know, as far as the programming is concerned, and as far as, you know, great demeanor, you know, super calm, super confident, you know. But I will say this about Ricky. I don't think people have any idea what they're going to see when this guy comes back. I mean, we're able now to take some time and really work on his weaknesses and work on his strength. He just PR'd his back squat after literally 8 weeks post-surgery, just PR'd his back squat. We're going to get his legs strong. He just, he ran a 5:22 mile on a runner today after doing 400 and 800 meter repeats. I mean, his fitness is out of the, I'm just, you know, I'm so sad that people didn't get a chance to
It goes
see him
sub
this year.
5, Justin. Come on now.
Well, he ran 4:55 mile outside. So,
I know.
I
I'm
mean,
just messing with you. I'm just messing.
But he's but he I mean, to do that on a runner, I mean, it's pretty special. And so I'm stoked for people to see him, and he's really excited to come back. And but yeah, it's awesome, man. I've had a phenomenal last few weeks, you know, and you know, obviously North America West was amazing last week with Alex, and we had a team that qualified, and then Australia was up and down. Obviously, we had Bailey Martin that qualified, and we're excited about Bailey. But you know, Caitlin broke my heart, and she didn't break my heart. She broke my heart that she didn't make it, you know, and have a really tough no rep on a legless rope climb that really cost her, you know. And but she's amazing. I mean, she came in fourth, and what a stud she is. And you know,
And
we've got
sent
some
it
incredible
on the
athletes
last
right
event.
now. Yeah, I know. I honestly, you know, I love her to death, but it was not that was not the plan.
Yeah.
She had done that in practice and it hadn't gone very well, and then we had a really nice plan, and listen, I understood though, like she wanted it, you know what I mean, and I understand sometimes you go for it and it doesn't work out, but you know, she's amazing, and she's amazing too because she's one of Sarah's best friends, so she's been awesome, giving a lot of you know, love and attention to Sarah this week, and it's been really cool to see that.
Awesome. Justin, I appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on at the last minute. And yeah, make sure you get both Braun and Sarah into that qualifying spot tomorrow and make it a successful European trip.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Have a
Justin.
good one, Justin.
All right. Take care, fellas.
See ya. Cool, man. Let's see.
I'm hearing that there's some scoring disputes, and there's still, if you go and look at the men's and the women's, you'll see in test 4 that there's a lot of ties. There should actually not be ties in test 4.
They'll get it sorted out. I mean,
yeah, I've seen the women's
So that-
leaderboard update a few times and then it goes back. So yeah, it looks like there's
Yeah.
some scoring
For people
disputes
asking.
and some issues with the scoring. So they're still working through that. That's why we don't have an updated overall leaderboard on the women. But we can go back to it for a bit here. And so I think there's some discrepancies on the weights. They have Karen Freyova at 210. They showed it, but I don't think that's what they showed when she was lifting. Laura Horvath heading into 4 and 5 was in 5th. Any concerns with Laura overall, Mike?
I mean, tomorrow's going to be the focus that everybody's been talking about for the last month for Laura. I mean, depending on who you ask, there was the last time she had to do wall-facing handstand push-ups, she may not have had the line in the right place and took a penalty there. So in those 20 will be a big focus, but it's not strict deficit. I know they're saying that on the broadcast as well, just to compare it to what she's really struggled with over her career. So I think she'll do what she needs to do. I don't think she's winning that workout. I think there's going to be people that just beat her by a good bit, but I think she'll do enough that she has to. I'd be curious where she stands today going into there, if this ranking is correct at all, that she gets back on the podium unless she really does something in event 7.
Yeah, it looks like the leaderboard did update. I don't know if it's official or final yet.
if it's not, it's give or take 3-6 points on it. Either way, it's pretty darn close.
Yeah. So Alyssa disputes. What I'm hearing is that they're disputing what the actual weight was lifted versus what was shown on the display cards. So most likely what the judges had written down versus what was probably taken down as notes on the display, and then just making sure that everything is right before they publish it, or before we move on. So let's see, Gabby Magala, Annie Thorisdottir, Karen Freyova, Emma Tall. She had a pretty good enough day to stay in there in the top 5. Matilda Garns, Manon Agonese. John, thoughts on Manon?
I mean, she's doing what she has to do. I mean, I think she's in a great spot right now. She's what? So is it top 10 or 11 for women?
Top 11 for both men and women this year.
So, I mean, she's got a 45-point lead going into the event. That's probably the worst for her. To give up 45 points, I think is going to be pretty darn hard. And I think in event 7, she's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Manon and Laura and Gabby, to an extent, we'll just hang on to Laura and Manon. They're going to be fine. I don't think it's 20 handstand push-ups and it's not deficit. They are going to be able to get through it fine. Legless rope climbs, they should, unless they go too hard, they should be able to get through it fine. They're not going to win the event. They're not going to be top 10 in the event. But I could see both of them being 11th through 15th in that event. Like they're and then event 7, my money is almost on Laura to win event 7. Event 7, she should blow out of the water. But like I think Laura will finish 4th. I think Manon will probably take a hit and be like 9th or something, but be fine and get in probably at 9th. She's almost like that person who's on the bubble, but would really, really have to screw things up to get out of the bubble.
Yeah.
Where's Sarah at? 12th?
Sarah's 9 points out.
9 points, yeah.
I think event 6 is that we're going to know. I think event 6 for Sarah, like we're going to find out everything we need to know about Sarah on event 6. If she's 11th in event 7, I think she's in. I think she'll do what she'll have to do to make it in. Event 6 is going to be everything.
And we've seen that over the last 3 weeks at all these semifinals, that event 7 doesn't really have there's right at the cut line. There's like 3 points, and there's been a lot of ties right around there too. But event 6 is really where you know where somebody stands or not. Like
it's just so many things can go wrong
for Sarah on that event.
In event 6.
Yeah.
Yep. Ella Wunger would be making her first appearance. So would Jennifer Muir and Manon Angany. So we have three rookies potentially in a good spot to.
So
to
Jennifer
qualify.
Muir, 57th place in event 2.
Who does that remind you of?
It's Sydney,
Yeah.
but it's way different. She won event 1, which is, I don't put a lot of stock into it. Event 1's been weird all year. If she's 57th in that, she's probably not going to do great in event 6. So I think Jennifer's going to be out of it. Whoever you want to put in there, I think Jennifer's going to be out of it. I think event 6 she'll finish bottom of the pack.
Yeah, I think she told the broadcast, maybe Chase, when he was doing Linda, was that 1 and 3 were her wheelhouse events. So if 6 is not going to be good for her, that could be a problem.
Well, you don't get 57th and 6 is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost willing to bet, like for sure. I don't even know who Jennifer Muir is. I'm glad she's doing great, but just by looking at this, I would almost be willing to bet that she's going to be out. Event 6 is going to be bad.
Yep.
McQuaid is probably going to be fine. Ella, I don't know much about. Do y'all know much about her? She did fine in event 2.
Nothing to call either way. Yeah.
Nothing to call either way. So Matilda Garnes is going to be fine. So it's bad as there's not a lot to fight for.
Well,
it's 11, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think Alyssa Fuliano right at 11. She's a very
good
strong
murder
gymnast.
event 6.
Yeah, she's going to really jump in, and we'll see who then falls out the other side. But I think she's going to do really well to solidify a spot, most likely.
I agree. I think she'll be like Colton. Like different people, but event 6 she'll murder. She'll be an 8th, and it'll be enough. Where event 7's just not going to matter that much.
Yep.
Some got Jacqueline Dahlstrom in 17th, Amy Kringle in 18th, Sola Sigurdardottir. Jesus, Sigurdardottir. That was a tough one. And Thuri Helgadottir. Some big names sitting there in the bottom.
Yeah, all 3 of these, I think. What's bad is I think they'll do great in event 6. I just think the gap is too much. Like you'd have to do great in event 6 and 7.
Yep. Same as the men.
Right? And I just don't see any of these girls doing great in event 6 and 7. They might kill event 6. Turi is not going to be able to bike fast enough. Solvig is not fit enough. Jacqueline, that's the biggest one is Jacqueline. And it's 40 points to the top. So, Bailey, we'll see if she can pull off a Bailey rail type comeback, but that's what it would have to take. Like a 2nd and a 7th.
Yeah, how far back was Bailey going into number 7? Was it 20?
Going into
points?
the last day, because she did really good on both of the events.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a chance, but I mean, it's going to probably be at the expense of some of those rookies that.
Hold on, let me respond to Semyon Kozriev. I'm glad for Archer Simonov. I'm happy for him. I don't count Asia.
Man.
And I don't count Africa.
Damn.
Your people need to get better for that to matter.
Yeah, no, I mean he did come back because he was out of the top 2 and then did do very well. So he is back in first, I believe. Anything, I guess, Andrea Solberg, Taylor Howe. Brian Friend was big on Taylor, wasn't he?
I didn't know that was me.
That was
First,
you?
Yeah. No. For like the last person in.
Yeah.
I thought she'd do better on the snatch. I thought she'd do better on Linda. And I thought she'd do better on event 1. Turns out her best events were the events that I didn't think she was going to do good on. So I was just wrong on Taylor.
I think Claudia Gluck will do really well, but it's again one of those where it's like, how much is it going to matter? Unfortunately, she was like top 3 in the world on that quarterfinals workout 1. So, and I know we talked, Brian, if there's a correlation between that and this workout.
John hates it. John hates that, but yes,
what
the correlation looking at quarterfinals to what's going to happen in semifinals.
They don't matter.
I'm just saying from
they
just
don't matter.
gymnastics.
Don't look at it. You computer guys, don't look at it. Quarterfinals don't matter.
I'm just saying it has similar pieces.
That's why y'all hate Fikowski. Predicting Fikowski not
Whoa,
Get out of here.
Don't put that on me.
Get out of here. I'm talking to Spin. I'm talking to Spin.
Lucy McGonigal, 16 years old.
Incredible.
185-pound snatch. So, I mean, she'll be in Madison in the teen division this year. I think she won the 14, 15-year-old last year, if I recall. So, someone to keep an eye out in the future. So she's getting some good experience competing with some of the best in Europe this weekend. And then we'll go off to the last page, see if there's anybody out there. Only one woman is just not started, but no withdrawals, which is kind of interesting. 8 on the men's side and now only 1 on the women's side.
Leah's been out for a couple weeks, I think.
Oh, okay.
Lori Clement is going to the games regardless. She's Masters athlete.
36 going to Madison. All right. Predictions for number 6 on the men's side. John, who do you feel good about going into 6 and 7?
I felt good about BKG, but he's been letting me down this whole week. So let me look through here. I'm tempted to say, I mean, Koski probably should win it. I think if Yona Koski killed everybody that bet on event 2, he would be my pick for event 6. But it's kind of a cop-out answer. Yona's obviously going to kill event 6. That would be my pick to win, though.
Mike?
Zanoni. I think he's right. I think he's right there, and I think he'll do really well on this event, and he needs it to stay in the cut. Yeah. I'm
gonna go with I'm gonna go with Lazar. I think he's gonna pull it off this time.
Also should be really good. What's bad is about event 6, like at least for the guys, we know who's gonna kill it. And there's not really any like dispute. You know what I mean? Like No, it's I mean there is some movement I think here in the bottom last couple of qualifiers, but I think it should be pretty solid, at least top 6, top 7, I guess 8 when you go down to Bjorgman. Hopefully he doesn't have a day 1 repeat. I'm excited to watch Braun. I don't think he'll beat any of the guys that we just said. Right. But if he gets like 10th place in this event, that's super, super solid for him. And it would be fun just to watch a big guy do that.
He's on fire now. He will do better.
Do you know him, Melissa? Because unless you're speaking to him right now, it's hard to pick him.
Everybody's on the BKG train.
They love him. They love him, and they hate Sarah for some reason. That's all the comments that I see. But I think Victor Hoffer will set a time in one of the earlier heats. I don't remember where he's going to fall in the heat schedule, but I think he'll set a time, and then I think that will then set the pace for the final heat, and somebody's going to win out of that final heat.
Can anybody beat Medeiros' time?
Justina.
What was it? 8:55.
I mean, I think it's beatable. Whether somebody does it or not, I don't know. Justin was pretty. I mean, that was pretty impressive. But Mount Harris was 9:06. So
yeah,
and if you compare Justin's fitness to Guy's fitness, it's such a big gap just by lung capacity, aerobic capacity, who's fitter. So it's not really a capacity workout. It's just muscle endurance, right? I guess it's muscle capacity. So, I mean, it's hard to say. Justin's time was pretty darn impressive, but I mean, I think Koski's got a shot. I wouldn't have picked him to beat Mertens' or Tetlow. We should say Tetlow. His 56 reps on event 2, and he did. So I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, there's no room for error. You can't sit there and wait between those reps. You have to.
He had like a couple pirouettes on the way back that he failed. I think Justin did near perfect. We'd have to see a perfect.
Justin Rhodes was on track to beat Justin's time until that last pirouette too.
He was. He was. On the women's side, event 6. Mike, you can start this one off.
This will be a good one to call.
I gotta go to my stats to keep up for the stats guy.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna go Matilda Garns.
Matilda Garns.
Wow. Well, I can't obviously say her then.
The stats match.
I love when I don't look at anything and then the stats say the exact same thing that I'm saying.
I didn't have her. Annie
to win it.
Event 6.
I like that. That'd be really, really fun to see.
I'm going to go with Laura Horvath. I think she can get through the 20 push-ups. 20 push-ups. I think she can get through.
Do you think she's going to do all that stuff faster? It's not that she can't do it. Like I could definitely see her in 10th place when somebody said, "I hope Laura proves him wrong." I don't think she'll do bad, but to beat everybody.
Yeah,
I think she'll make
it. Have to break those up and like go make sure she doesn't go to failure, which is going to take time. I think somebody's just going to rattle them off.
I think that the thing with her is
does really good tomorrow.
The thing with Laura is she needs to be very conservative on the first 2 rope climbs, because I think that what she may do is go out too fast and do them too quick and then blow up on the handstand push-ups. She's going to be so much faster on those than the others that if she takes her time and is more fresh, I think she can get through them. Obviously, we don't know what happened in quarterfinals 1. She did get the major penalty. It seems like for the tape line being 2 inches different. If that's true and she can get through the handstand push-ups in a similar time frame as the others, I think she can, hit that second pirouette, walk back in ahead of everybody. So
I like the Annie pick more and more. Now I'm thinking about it.
Wow.
She destroyed, or she looked like she was destroying BKG on Instagram.
John Hung, can Laura go back to back on the legless rope climbs? I bet she could. She doesn't need to.
She doesn't.
I just don't think the handstand push-ups are going to be as hard.
I think on the front end she may try to do that, but it's hard.
That'd be so dumb.
Game it.
Why would you do it on the front end?
I'm just thinking like how you game this.
Well, like the third one, if you do the third
one, make sure that you're giving yourself most time on the push-ups. Yeah.
If you do the third one, so say after the handstand push-ups, and you do the third one, and it's easy, then I could see you going back to back because you're in the moment. It feels easy. You have it. That first 2, you'd be dumb to do it there because then you got the handstand push-ups and 2 more legless rope climb. It serves no purpose.
You're fine. Yeah.
But that third one, though, I mean, it's done after that, and you know how you feel.
Yeah. If you feel good after the third one, you just pop back up if you have no issues and move on, make up a lot of ground, be good to go. Stephanie says that Matilda is worse than Laura at handstand push-ups.
Well, if that's the case, that's I'm sorry. Matilda. I just know that her pulling capacity is very good, and that's what I was banking on. I just assumed the handstand push-ups weren't that bad, but if somebody knows that she's trash at those, then it's
I mean,
probably not going to go good. I'm going to top on Mag's pick. Then I like Annie. The more and more I think about it.
There you go.
there's definitely the rope climbs are definitely where most people get stuck.
For the women especially.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the handstand push-ups, some are faster than others, but I don't think anybody that's been in contention has gotten stuck on those. Right.
I mean, you look at if you go back and look at Giroux, if you remember Giroux last week, I think was destroying everybody. Everybody did the handstand push-ups easy, did the first rope climbs easy, and then she got to that fourth rope climb, blew up, and then took maybe 4 minutes to do that last rope climb, and she was easily the best in the field, better than everybody. Those rope climbs matter way more for the women than the handstand push-ups do.
That's a piece of it. When you look at somebody who is like a very high skilled gymnast, they look at this workout and they love it, and they just like race to the thing that they think they're going to be the best at. And by the time they get there, they just went way too fast, and then it's just not there on the other side of it. Yeah, I was watching her pretty closely. I think Elisa Fuliano, right at the cut line, she might be the one, John. If you want to grab somebody else. Well, don't grab her physically, but if you want to pick,
I take it back. I'm taking Jacqueline Dahlstrom. That's my winner.
Oh, there we go.
I was trying to sell you on Fuliano.
That's my winner. Jacqueline Dahlstrom.
There you go.
Go get it, Jacqueline. I don't think you're going to make it, but you got to do this.
The picks that are like has to do well on this.
Yeah, I like those too.
Yeah.
Does anyone know enough about Linda Kiesman to say that she still has a chance?
Where's she at? 277? Nope. No idea.
I mean, she's within the scoring possibility, but she's going to have to do.
What's the computer say?
The computer says she's 20 points out of the cut line.
Well,
and then
I'm just hoping you had some stats on somebody.
A few of us nerds are working on something. The computer says she has a 36% chance of qualifying. So
36%.
Where do you get that? Did you just make that up?
The Barclay Dale.
Where does he get that?
He makes it, so I don't know how he gets it. But
Kiesman here looks like she was at games on a team back in 2019. So yeah.
Are we calling for event 7 too?
If you want, real quick, event 7.
I think I'm going to say Laura.
Yeah. She won the duel too. That's what I was looking at too. Yeah. Annie, Laura race to the end for maybe the podium, maybe the championship here.
I think Laura will end up 4th. It'd take a lot for her to podium. Like Karen would have to mess up, and I just
back to back, and then yeah,
I just don't see it. But for Annie, I think Annie and Gabby will be very, very close together after event 6. And event 7, I would probably say Annie would be ahead of her. But I think that point spread will be very tight. And then event 7 will be for the win.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you want to pick somebody who goes for it, Gabby's going to be very good at this too. I'm going to pick Laura for the win, but I mean, I think Annie and Gabby, like, that's for the whole competition.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Dahlstrom.
For event 7, I picked her on event 6. You're picking her event 6. She probably gets in if she wins both of these. That'd be crazy.
I think she's gonna be having. I mean, she's gonna need it, so it's gonna be an all or nothing for her.
I would love to see that, though. Honestly, if she were to go back-to-back wins, like that would be so amazing. Oh, man. That would be so amazing.
Singleton.
I would forever be a fan of Jacqueline. I'd pick her for everything.
I think we've danced around Sarah, but I picked her for an event this morning and it didn't go well for her, so I've just stopped picking her just to not jinx her. But I would love to see Sarah do well on the next 2 events and sort of prove some people wrong, especially now that it's confirmed that she's with Justin. I think obviously he's been coaching his athletes really well, so she'll come in smart to those to those 2 tests tomorrow and hopefully get back to the games here.
She needs a top 10 finish.
Yeah.
I mean, does she though? Jennifer is going to drop out. So that's your spot right there. Now, if Jacqueline Dahlstrom wins 2 in a row, I mean, that probably is going to be good enough to win. But then you got Fuliano. How is she going to do on event 7? I know she's going to kill event 6, but we don't know how she's going to do on event 7. Like for Sarah, I think you just keep getting your 10th place. If she gets 10th place in both these events, I think she's in. And that's what she's been doing pretty much the whole weekend. I know she didn't do very good on event 2, but I mean, she's been pretty darn consistent. She just hasn't killed anything, right? So, I mean, I think 10th place in both of these events gets the job done for her.
I agree.
It would be very,
I don't know
very,
who
very
would
tight
go
at
out.
that point.
It would be, but I don't know who would go out. But I think 10th place in both of those events get the job done for her. If we're going to say Jacqueline Dahlstrom's going to have the greatest comeback we've ever seen, better than Will Morad's 81-point swing, then that means Wunger and Muir are out because Fuliano. 2 of the 3 of those are out. Muir, Wunger, Fuliano.
Yeah.
And
you're not saying the right one. That I think your friend here, John Hung, says that everybody's sleeping on McQuaid.
No, she's in already.
Well, I just mean he says for event 6.
Oh,
I believe
okay, I got you. She should do well in event 6. I just don't think she'll win.
Yeah.
On to the men, event 7.
Oh, yeah.
John?
Event 7. That's a hard one, man. For this field, that's a hard one. Oh, man. Okay.
Who's the best at toes to bar? That's all I really care about.
Probably Lazar. I would say, okay, I think Lazar should win this, but I'm going to say Oldest Upaniks as my dark horse. I think he's going to do what he needs to do on this workout. He might not, but he's good on the bike and he's small. He should be good at toes to bar. Well, I think Lazar probably wins this one though.
Mike?
I was gonna say Lazar, so I'll go with that since John basically just gave it to me. But I think him, BKG, Koski, all
the games
well.
guys.
Yeah, the game guys do well on this. They know how to, like, it's that dark place workout that you just see people, like, if they can just sit there and not break up the toes to bar, if they can just go straight through it. Watching like Dallin Pepper do this workout and a few others now, like, you could see that people just need to go to a place if they really want to win this test, or if they really are around the cut line. BKG could use a win to put him back into where people thought he should be for the entire weekend. So maybe him.
I'll take a dark horse with Catullus.
Oh, yeah. After I named 6 people, so
yeah.
Sorry, I used up all of them. Yeah.
Awesome. I think we had one more question here. We'll end with this. Better for their season narrative, Annie placing first or Laura continuing under the radar?
I don't think it matters. I think Laura. So I picked Annie to win this before the events. Very, very similar to what happened to Roman is what's happening to Laura. Very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I probably still picking Roman over Adler in the games. I'm definitely still picking Laura over Annie in the games. I don't think Laura's under the radar because she's been second place twice. I think if you think about who can win the games, Laura Horvath's name is in that conversation. It wouldn't have been any different had she won first place. Just more people would think she's going to win. Annie's in that conversation too. This solidifies it. So, I mean, I don't think this matters as far as a season narrative. The narrative is who wins the games. Nobody cares about how you did at semifinals if you don't win the games. Medeiros was third place in the semifinal last year. Do we talk about who won the semifinal? No. Who won that semifinal? I bet it's pretty hard to think about off the top of your head. You can go look it up, but just off the top of your head, it's hard to pick it. I know Justin got third. So this doesn't really matter as far as season narrative. I don't think it matters to either of them. They just want to punch their ticket, and then it's about the games. 100%.
Yep.
I agree. 100%. Stephanie.
I think there's a very cool story with Annie, and I talked about it before, but doing this.
But if she doesn't win the
doing
games,
this for a decade plus, but yeah, winning
no
the
story.
games is that story.
If she wins her semifinal and gets fourth or third, there's no story. You know, it's just about winning the games. You know, Tia's gone, Mal's gone, Haley's gone, any other top girl's gone. I know there's more of them. Brooke's not there. This is the chance for anybody who is at the door to win the games. So if you don't win the games, there is no story.
There's Saxon.
I'm talking about the girls.
No, you said who beat Medeiros.
Oh, Saxon Panchik. And what's he doing now?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? It don't matter. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hiller.
Guys, I appreciate it. You can get up early in the morning again, Mike?
I mean, it's the finals. I don't, maybe. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate it. The team competition, I think, maybe just been wrapping up or very soon. But otherwise, Sunday, Europe, Asia will start up tonight, and we'll see you guys again.